Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mielabraika. I'm looking at Ruth 4, fourth chapter, third verse, and the first line of the fourth verse. So the reason for including this line is that Ruth 4 verse 4 is quite long, and so I just moved part of that verse into the end of verse 3 here. And this first line here introduces the dialogue that we find in verse 4. So the first part of this verse is simply an introduction to a following dialogue. So we'll get into the study here, and this is continuing the action on the part of. And here, this slide covers chapter 4, verses 3, and the first part of verse 4, and that's here at the end. Here begins right here, Ana Ani Amarti. So verse 2 ends right here, Vayashbu, and then they sat down. Siluk Sof Pasuk in verse 3 begins right here, Vayomer, and then he said, and the subject of this, he said, that is Boaz. And then Boaz said, La Goel, to the kinsman redeemer. Goel is the root is based on the Gimot Lamet with an aleph in the middle of it, but something that has to restore things, something that has to bring something back, something has requires restoration. Kinsman redeemer. Ha hel kat, that is the portion of the field, and this portion is defined by kof. In other words, the rope the lengths of the rope that have defined the field are found in this kof right here. The kof is the symbolism of is a string with a cord on the end or with a knot on the end, and that defines the size of this particular inheritance or this particular portion of the field. So halakat, we've seen this word already at the start of chapter 2 when Ruth goes out to the field, and by fortune or good fortune or just so happens that she lands on the halakat that belongs to Boaz. But this is a halakat belonged to Elimelech. So we're speaking about it right here, and it's the portion of the field, and that portion also represents the inheritance of the field. So both things happening within this word. Portion of the inheritance of the field, hashadeh, direct article in the front of this word shadeh, the field. Now, it's interesting, you have fields of Moab, which is where they happen to be for 10 years. But here, the field, in other words, this is a definite field. People know where and what this field is. So, Ashadeh, the field. Asher, which, le achinu, which belonged to our brother. So, achi is brother, and nu is our. So that's a suffix plural pronoun on the end of this particular noun. And then the lamet of possession. Possessive belongs to our brother, or belonged to before, belonged to our brother. And Elimelech, that is to Elimelech. That's the man who had gone off to Moab, had died, and now his widow has returned. Now, Naomi is mentioned here at this point. It goes, Naomi, Mokra, she is selling. Okay? She's selling. What she's selling? The halakat. Okay, but we'll just get into just mentioning here Naomi, Makra. She is selling. And who is this? Ha Shavah, the one who returned. This is this Naomi who went off to Moab, is returning now. Hashavah Mishdeh, from this field. Now, notice we have over here a direct article, and this is a definite noun then. And here, there's no patah, so from a field. In other words, she's going from an undefined place to a defined place. This she's returning to something that really does belong to her. Over there, it never didn't belong to her, just borrowing it or just working on it, but wasn't the field, or wasn't the field that belonged to her in any way, shape, or form. It's just simply the place she was. So from the field, from a field of Moab. Okay, she came in from a field of Moab. And so as we see, she goes from indefinite to definite, and she has some ownership, has some rights over this helakat. And this verse then, verse 3, ends right here with a siluk. Didn't bother to stick a sof pasuk in here, but Siluk is enough to close off the word Moab here. She's come from a field of Moab. Va, Ana, and then um, and Ani, Ani, and then I. I'm getting used to see Anochi. Up to now, the Anochi has been quite common. The longer form of I. Here's the short form. Ani, and then I. Amarti, I'm saying to you, and egle, I am going to roll up. Okay, this is gal. Gol is to roll something back, or return something, or to roll something back. This one's to roll up in the first person. I am rolling, egale. I'm rolling up. Osnecha lemor. I'm rolling up your ear. In other words, I'm discovering your ear. I'm rolling it up, so that you can hear. Okay, I'm unrolling your ear. That's the use of gil. Gimel lamed, Yosil, Gilgal, Galil, different roots that are based on something that is being rolled up or unrolled or rolled up. So egale, oznecha, lemor. So Boaz is now man on a mission, and in this portion we see an explanation of what's happening. We see a definition of the place, what has to happen here, what Naomi wants to do. She wants to sell. And so it starts out with the land, and when the Goel, the other guy, hears this, oh, he's kind of excited about it. That leads to some suspension as to, or leads to some leads to some suspense as to what's happening here. There's suspense in the story. What's this guy going to do? What's the other Goel going to do? Boaz has decided what he's going to do. He wants to be involved. He's going to be willing to buy the land. He's going to be willing to reestablish the name. So Boaz is very decided on what he's going to do. In our lives, we do have to make decisions as to what we're going to do with our lives and the course we will take in life. And here we see something very precious as Boaz says, okay, this is what's happening. Let's talk about it. Let's define it. And I'm willing to explain it very clearly by rolling up your ears. There are times that we have to explain things clearly to someone else, and then we most certainly roll up their ears to explain it. So God bless and God strengthen you in this day. Until the next time.